Okay, today we're going to talk about the Trump tariffs. What I really want to talk about, I've posted other videos on the Trump tariffs, and I get feedback, two types of feedback. Number one, they sort of got rolled back with Mexico and Canada right away, and people are like, why you bring up the Trump tariffs? They're already gone. That was the point number one, which is not the way I'm looking at it. And point number two is then people get all political, saying, the tariffs are good or the tariffs are bad. So the things I want to address is, if you're running a business, obviously everybody's going to have political views, but if you're running a business, you're worried about your business, okay? And most businesses are importing from China. China, the tariffs stuck, and then a lot of folks will say, well, they're only 10%. Yeah, they're 10% higher than they were before, which was 25%. Okay, so people are getting hit with these tariffs in a way bigger way than a lot of non-business owners understand. And so the other thing I wanted to say is, a lot of folks are like, okay, well, it's only 10%. This is just the first salvo. You guys got to go back and look at what happened with the last administration. They're not just going to give in. Okay, even Biden didn't undo the tariffs, right? They kept them. So 25 is the first salvo. Now we're at 35. It could go to 45 or 55. And let's say I'm wrong. That's fine. Your business will have better margins, right? If you acted, you raised your prices, you did what you have to do. I guess my comment from the first issue on Trump tariffs there are basically two or three things you can do. So number one, you go to your factories and negotiate pricing. Factories are getting stipends, grants, money from the Chinese government. They have room to move. Plus there's a little bit of currency devaluation that happened last time. We'll see what happens this time. So you go to your factories, you push hard. They need your business. They're hurting, by the way. And just like we are over here in a lot of consumer goods companies, that's the one option that you do. And then the other option is you have to raise your prices. There is going to be some consumer price inflation on the consumer goods. There's no way around it. You're not going to be able to go, all of a sudden move your whole supply chain all over the world. But, people have done that, and you can get into, get into Taiwan or Vietnam or any of the other areas in Southeast Asia where there has been some movement the last 8 years. But raising your prices, and I'm stating the obvious, but here's the thing. Most owners are super cautious to raise your prices. Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose business. I'm going to lose this. The thing is, if you raise, a lot of times, most consumer goods companies are literally making 10% or less on their goods, and often less than 10%. So let's say you're making 5%. If you raise your prices 5%, you could be doubling your profits, all else being equal. So it's a fool's errand to try to just eat the tariff increase. It's a complete fool's errand. You're going to get some from China. You're going to get some on the pricing end. You could also get some with your internal expense optimization. But let me tell you, a lot of companies don't have that option anymore. After about 6 or so years of already doing that. A lot of companies are super lean. They've already cut the fat out of their business. But of course, you can go back and do more of that. Look for more automation. There's always automation and efficiency improvements. Okay, but here's the final one. The final one is that there are always some exemptions that come up. Now, I know a lot of you might be getting some tariff exemptions, and if you're not a business owner, you may not realize this, but there's tons of exemptions in there. So there's tariffs, and then you'll find out like a huge segment of these companies are not paying any tariffs actually, because there's exemptions. Like this commercial product's exempt, and this residential one is not exempt. And so even if you're selling this, or this consumer is not exempt, right? So even if you're selling a consumer product, you might re-import it under a commercial labeling or something like that. These are the games that happen. And a lot of them are really legitimate though, and they're just there, and your sourcing team needs to go find them. So if you're a business owner, your sourcing team needs to find these. They are actually out there. They're there. It's legal. The government is making these exemptions because they realize that certain products literally are not made anywhere else, and the only way you're going to get them is probably from China. And so they don't want to have a tariff on certain products, right? These are certain exemptions. Who knows? Maybe lobbyists get in there and make these exemptions. But the crazy thing is, a lot of companies don't get them. It's actually unbelievable that they're there, and you got to have a sharp sourcing team and operators to go out there and find them and implement them, and then change your your import codes and work with your freight forwarders and all that stuff. So I just wanted to go through. I mean, obviously, this can get a lot more detailed and complicated for those of you running a business, and even if you're not, and it's just interesting how tariffs work. I thought I'd share these details. You know, final word: move very fast. Okay, as this rain's coming down, move very fast. To me, if the prices went up, you got to adjust. Do not eat this. Do not say, well, my current inventory is this margin and I'm going to slowly bring in the higher costed inventory and I can wait this out. I would move immediately, because buyers don't accept price increases right away. If you're D2C, it's a lot easier, but if you're working with retailers, they don't accept them right away. So move quick. Don't expect these to fall away. Expect them to actually increase over time, and I would send those signals to your buyers. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of the water here, out of the rain. In Southern California, we need this rain, and it's like barely raining. It's just misting. So that's what we got going on. I hope this video was helpful. Take care.